Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, and I'm the 3D retail design instructor here at Langara College in the Design Formation program, and I'd like you to come through our exhibit that we did, the Christmas of 2011, called Muse, of Myths and Mannequins, an exhibition. So, you ready to come through? This is our Sugar Plum Fairy installation. We've gone through an entire narrative of the mannequins in a collection that have taken up to 35 years to come together, been salvaged, rescued from dumpsters, have been bought off eBay. They've come from everywhere. And what they've come together in this exhibit is to show you the narrative and the storytelling abilities of mannequins. So we wanted to start right off the bat, after we see the heralds and the angels outside, coming into a Christmas fantasy land. So we've chosen a vintage 1999 series from an American manufacturer, and we've changed these crazy vanity girls into our Sugar Plum Fairies. So we've hand created all of these desserts. Everything is made out of either plaster or celastic or silicone, but they're all fake. But the point here is that you're invited into a winter wonderland with Pat, Judy, and Sandy, our Sugar Plum Fairies. Now, this narrative switches over a little bit over here to our star of the show is our unicorn, and he's from about 1962, salvaged from Woodward's. We've just had him refurbished. Woodward's was a department store that was around for about 98 years, and in Western Canada, and he was rescued from going to the dumpster as well when the store went defunct in Edmonton. So we've had him beautifully restored by an artist out of Montreal, Miss Deborah Ruff, we work with, and we couldn't be happier with her. So she's pretty cool. So this is all about the fantasy of display, and we wanted to really bring you into that whole aspect of being able to just get outside yourself and be 3 years old again. A Margaret Mansell, she's an F1 from an Adele Rootstein series called Plump and Pretty, circa 1972. They were all bigger gals, voluptuous gals, real-life looking gals, but they were stunning and gorgeous. And the reason that we've put her in this Rubenesque, burlesque installation is we wanted to take you back to Botticelli, Venus on a half shell, and the true sort of visual of beauty and how our narrative of what we like to look at changes. And you'll see that. Our principal collection at Arm & a Leg are Rootsteins. We collect them, we know them from a distance, we can spot them from 30,000 feet. I can pick an arm out of a bin, no problem. I've studied in as much as I know how our collections work with regards to our rentals and what we want you to see as our specialty props. So we'll continue on from there after leaving our burlesque gal, and I want to show you a little bit more of what mannequins can do for you. These are all found pieces of costume that have all been put together on this particular group of mannequins. We've had the specialty makeup permanently applied to them, so they have the commedia kind of Cupid faces painted right on them. The hair is articulated in paint as well, and we wanted to give you the old Arlecchino, Columbina, and Pantalone story, but we wanted to do it by going to secondhand shops and trying to pull those looks together and do it from a stylist perspective. So this is very much an editorial sort of approach to mannequins and how we can put forward a look for you in whatever it is you want to do. Here we have what we call Fairy, and she's about the body politic as well. We wanted to talk about a very naturalistic form with this particular series, and we decided to give her a full-on set of wings behind her, so that when you walk up to that display, you could be walking up to a fairy in the garden. She's part of a bigger concept that we would love to do with a fashion shoot outside, or for a garden party, for example. To have a few of these lingering around in the bush would be super cool. This is based off of a 1973 series called Sayoko. And again, rare as hen's teeth, you're going to find them probably on the internet, probably not from another collector. But what we've done is we've created this whole sensibility of shock. We wanted to talk about the violent death of what happens within the culture and the myths of Japanese culture. The white robes, the white wigs, the red plexi on the bottom to represent that violence, and the lost bird. So these two girls, the kimonos were all hand done. We tried to find something that worked for us. We decided to make them ourselves. So the wigs, again, specialty. This is something we've tried a couple times over, really successful for us in trying to get those wigs longer. These girls could have the option of being suspended as well, so it would be super spooky. We worked with our friends at Bard on the Beach here in Vancouver, and we want to show from an installation perspective that we can show costume and that we can take a serious tone to what we're doing with regards to exhibition and exhibition display of costumes. So these three guys here are all a stylized Rootstein. We've taken away all the neutrality, or we've come back to the neutrality of the mannequin and just left it to the styling. Behind you there, we've got what I like to call the vintages. These are the survivors. Mannequins were everyday work-a-horse kind of implementations in a retail setting. So to find them still kicking around, not spray painted, not abused, is quite a find. And things like this 1910 bust form on the end, that was found in a junk store. This little baby circa 1940 was in mint condition. That was a gift from a good friend of mine. This little guy was a junk store find in Fort Macleod, Alberta, stuck in the corner of a Sally Ann. And then this father was an eBay find, again, plaster manufacturer, 40s, 50s, and 60s in this grouping. The Bauer and Black supports, again, just having these things and rescuing them and meticulously putting them back together. These were for Bauer and Black elastic supports. These would have been in a pharmacy. These are found in Edmonton. For many, many years, they stood up above the cash register and sat there for another 10 years before they were liquidated, and I ended up getting them as Christmas gifts. So, super thrilled to have them back in action. Mannequins are also something you don't see in fashion anymore. So that's why we designed Banquet here. And Banquet was all about what happens when you never underestimate the two bit players in a display. And this is little Mr. Mouse and Mr. Kitty, who've started this whole mayhem over dessert. We've got all of our models up on the table. They're all trying to keep their feet off the ground, but this is to show fashion and the dynamics of how you can really compose a visual presentation from a fashion perspective that's over the top. It doesn't have to be the headless mannequins that you're seeing everywhere. You can have some fun. The ribbon wigs, they're all part of the theme of what we wanted to pull back into it being a holiday season and part of our palette. So we worked very carefully with the designer who blew it over the top with her outfits, and she just gave us such a wealth of stuff to deal with. But this, we faked the table legs. Everything here has been constructed as an illusion. So, but it's to show the mannequin as fashion and what they used to be used for, and that was creating theater.